Hello everyone. Magandang umaga. It's actually March 25, past 12 o'clock in the midnight. So this is Mentor Anna once again, and we are live. I just wanted to hop on here. If this is your first time to be here on my business page, ako po si Ana Montesa. I'm a former accounting and finance professional, dating hospital CFO na nagtrabaho sa corporate world for 15 years, turned digital business mentor and owner for 5 years. So I just wanted to hop on here. Biglaan lang din, I just finished the day one. Good thing that we have a recording ng aming virtual retreat. So this is a 3-day virtual retreat, which happens to be somewhere in Dominican Republic, and we are grateful because we had the chance to have an online access to watch that for the next for actually kakatapos lang niya. So it's been 3 days already, and I just finished day number one because I have something to do. But anyways, I just wanted to go on here to share with you some of the key learnings that I also gain, no? Yung mga key takeaways ko, ba't ako nabubulol? Key takeaways ko, no? After finishing first day. So, as if you know me, I always have my notebook with me, and this is where I will, share with you some of the things that really, I really considered as one of the golden nuggets, no, for those who are also were there. I've seen a lot of our business owners were there in the venue, and next time I'm really excited to also attend one. But even though I was able to attend online, I was really grateful because I still get to see and feel the energy of the event. So what more kako kung nandun pa ako offline. But anyways, so just to share with you some of the things that I gained, let me flip my notebook. So the number one that we got out of that, well, the first part was all about identity, right? So in order for us to, I think I've already mentioned this also with the one that I also attended with Bob Proctor program, that identity is the very important, that we need to determine in the very beginning. So it was also mentioned in the first part of the day one that in order for us to get the results in our business, we have to have a clear identity, because if you don't have a clear identity of who you want to be, right, what do you want to achieve in the business, the results that you will also be getting, is you will always go back to your old habits, right? So it's very important that you have to list down who do you want to be, right? And since this is an Eagles retreat, of course, we wanted to be an eagle in our business. I also wanted to become an eagle. I am an eagle in my business. I'm declaring that. And, eagles don't really run from pressure because they rise from pressure, right? And if you've seen a lot of eagles, which is true, no, those eagles are really, talagang they really go through the storm, inaharap nila yung storm, and in the end, they became um, they became stronger, right? After going through the storms. So just like an eagle, we also want to become an eagle in our own respective businesses. And I really like that analogy. And if you already have your identity already clear, you have to start by deciding who you want to be. You try to repeat the habits of the identity of the person that you want to become, and you try to act on it, because ito yung clearly important, that if you keep on repeating, right, because you're trying to embed a new identity about yourself, action is really important to complete the cycle. And hindi mo kailangan ng maraming checklist in order for you to succeed in the business. You have to need or create your new identity, and that will serve as your thermostat, right? Whether to succeed in the business or not, right? Now, the second one is you should have a clarity. So, well, it really relates to the identity that I've mentioned earlier, that if you don't have a clear vision or a clear identity of who you want to be, right? If you want to be disciplined, if you want to be, let's say, you'll do whatever it takes, or maybe you are a persistent person, you have to be specific on that, right? And you have to think of actions, right, to make that identity like a permanent part of you. Of course, with repetitive action, that's where you build your new identity, right? Now, the second part, the second speaker talked about like if we're going to talk about success, that there is, nobody starts ready. And I really love this speaker because she talked about like we always wanted to start a business. We also wanted to, become successful, but we are so afraid, but we want to be, doing a perfect action. But actually, confidence, right? When you're building confidence in anything, in business, or for example, in this digital business or in your career, for example, right? Your confidence natin really comes from taking action. And if you wanted to grow, again, it also comes from taking action. So one thing from the keynote speaker, si Coach Eden, that my key takeaway here is to always take imperfect actions, right? And and never overanalyze, right? Because sometimes we are led by our logical thinking. But if we are clear with what we want to achieve in our business, in our life, what will our business give to us, right, in return, then we should stop over analyzing, right? Because um, when you spend more time on over analyzing, it really wastes your energy, right? And you start to create a different, situation, pero hindi naman yun talaga ang nangyayari in reality. So what you need to do is, since time is gold, right? The time that has already passed we can never let it, kumbaga, hindi natin mababawi ulit. So we have to over prepare, right? And we have to fail fast. Yan ang natutunan ko. Because when we start to fail fast, and that's where we, get a lot of learnings out of it. So next time we don't know, or we don't repeat rather that same mistakes over and over again, right? So for those people, ito rin ako, gusto ko to, like, why do you have to, wait to be perfect? Especially if you see that there's already someone already getting ready and learning the business. So for those people, siguro for those people who are watching, for those who will catch us on the replay, and you feel like you wanted to become ready to start the business, nobody started the business at 100% confidence, I myself included. So I really appreciate yung story ni Coach Eden because she worked so hard. She's also a Filipina, and right now she started working as early as 15 years old here in the Philippines before she went to Taiwan, to Canada and US. And then, her story was really a very very inspiring story. And you'll be hearing a lot of these stories inside our business community if you decided to start a business, so you'll become part of our business community, right? So what else? Yeah, and one thing that really stood out also from Coach Eden is, if you really, 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 really have to wait and you're not doing anything, you have to choose between the pain of regret, of staying the same and not taking action, or the pain of discipline, right? Because if we are thinking na, naku, baka magkamali ako, baka hindi ako maging successful. Now, think of it this way, like, what if mali ka, talagang magiging successful ka, or what if the business really works for you, right? And what if the business will also change everything for you? Just like with Coach Eden, because right now she's living, and from the States, she went back to the Philippines, and ngayon, nandito sila, nag-retire together with her husband. So, na-retire na rin niya yung kanyang husband, together with their two kids, and now they're enjoying currently they're actually building their retirement home dito sa Philippines, right? What a very very successful story, right? So ang isang takeaway ko kay Coach Eden is, do one imperfect action in your business, or before starting a business, do one bold action, right? Because time is gold and you can never go back. Now, the next part that I also love is having a vision for your own business. Well, what was really shared was to come up with your own vision for 2026. And of course, starting a business is not only about the business. So what really is important is we cover the 6 different aspects of writing our own vision. So the key areas is number one, starting with faith, like how will I grow closer to God? Number two is set aside for your family, right? A new vision mo for your family. Like, how will I lead my home well, right? Number three, your health. So, of course, very important din ang ating health. Like, how will I care for my body? Number four, of course, is in the business, what milestone am I building toward, right? Number five is about money. Like, what income am I aiming for when you start a business, right? Of course, when we start a business, income is also the byproduct of the business. But of course, money here isn't our main goal. What are we aiming for? What we are aiming for, rather, is it really helps us to, improve the quality of our life, or maybe it really magnifies who you are. So if you are a generous person, when you have more money, it means you can be more generous to other people, and so on and so forth. And last but not the least is number six, the leadership aspect. Who will I help as a leader in my business, right? So those are the 6 areas that were mentioned. And I wanted to really be specific here that ito common to sa mga naririnig ko, and when I watch other successful entrepreneurs, not just here in the business but in all other types of businesses though, that it's really common that you really have to, if you want to be successful, you really have to write the vision and make it clear. So when you write your own vision, it has to be specific, right? For example, if you're aiming a milestone in your business, you have to be specific. If you're aiming for the income that you wanted to earn in your business, you have to be specific, right? And then earlier, the next part was a panel of business leaders is one of the things that I also loved earlier, that we got tips from business leaders who were able to accelerate their businesses. So ang daming mga golden nuggets out of that. And most of them really came from, let's say, the not so good situation. And because of their huge why, yun lang yung nakitake away ko dito, because of their huge why. In order for you to have a huge why, it has to be something that makes you cry, right? So if your why doesn't really make you cry, it means it's not big enough, right? And when you have that big why, you have to place it, yeah, it has to be visible, like in your wall, in your home office, in your laptop, in your mobile phone, basta parati mo siyang nakikita, which will also help you to, remind you, why are you doing this business in the first place? Or why are you doing this? Who are you doing this business for, right? So I also really, really love that. And then, of course, when we have come up with our vision, we have a clear identity and we have a clear vision in all 6 areas, we're now doing imperfect action continuously, and then adapting the skills that we need to elevate or accelerate our business more. The last part was about having a clear GPS, right? So GPS stands for goal, plan, and system. So if you already have that vision in your mind in your business, for example, you have to be clear on your specific milestone and when do you want to achieve that. What is the income, the amount of income that you wanted to achieve, on what date? It has to be specific, and anything that is very specific for you to reach your business milestone. Of course, you have to also put here your big why, right? Again, to remind you, why are you doing this? And it has to make you cry, to make it huge and big, right? And you also have an anti-goal, or it has to be your clear limitations of what will, yung limitation mo, like, of course, you need to prioritize your health, your faith, your family, and you can also set like how many hours can you work in a week para dun mo i-fit in yung magiging plan mo, which is the second part, which is P stands for your plan. So, what are the different activities that you're going to do in your business? They have already listed down the top three activities or actions that will help you again move the needle in your business. And of course, if you have anticipated, right? If ano yung mga bagay that can prevent you from achieving your plan, is you try to anticipate it and try to list down the solution that you can do to also make it happen, right? So for example, if you're still working full time, if you are um, distracted or you're busy, then ang suggestion is time blocking, right? Set an earlier time slot or a better time slot if your current schedule is not working. So it's as simple as that, right? And last but not the least is you need to have your system. So sabi nga nila, your results really depends on how the level of your system or the consistency in your system. So in order for you to keep that up, so GPS, it's the goal, plan, and the system. The system, it should have your schedule. It has to be clear schedule. You observe yourself kung saan yung high energy mo. Letter T stands for tracking, track your results. As mentioned ng ating speaker, si Coach Dexter, what you measure, that is the thing that you can also improve. Have an accountability where you share your business results. And letter R, which stands for reminder, right? To always see your vision board in your wall, in your cell phone or laptop, to always, remind you why you are doing the things that you do, or why are you starting the business, or why are you doing these things for the business, right? And some of the things that would also help us, especially yung mga nanood din ng virtual retreat, to also improve our business more. So that's it for today, for tonight. Those are the things that I've learned for day one. Actually, day one pa lang to, pero ang dami ko na nakuhang golden nuggets. I mean, I'm really excited for day 2 and 3, right? And for those who are also, watching the virtual retreat, di ba, nakaka-excite, right? And for those who are not yet, I think you can access it through, you can pay for the access. It's found on our training site. We have access for that. And then that's it. So that's it for tonight. So I just wanted to share this with you. And I just wanted to, um, always reflect. So I have set tomorrow as my time to polish my identity again, to polish my vision, to polish my things to do that I need to improve on my business, and also the plan, the GPS that I also wanted to start implementing in my own business. Right? So that's it for tonight or this morning. Maraming salamat for watching this live. And for those who will catch us on the replay, I know it's already late. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.